All right, so why paid leave is a relevant topic. This is something that affects everyone. It affects women especially, which I'll talk about, but it affects children, it affects fathers, it affects businesses. The United States is the only industrialized country in the world that doesn't have paid leave. There are 8 countries in total, Suriname in South America, and a number of countries in the Pacific. So it's really problematic that we don't have leave because it makes it very difficult, especially for women, to get ahead in the workforce. It makes it really difficult if you have to take time off to care for an elderly relative, to care for a newborn child, it makes it difficult to maintain the economic stability that you've had in the past. And so people often ask me why it's relevant to them, especially if they don't plan on having children or if they are past the age of having children. And that's why it's important to note that it's not just paid parental leave that I'm interested in, it's paid family leave. So if you do need to take time off to care for an elderly parent or a spouse who is sick or your own serious illness or injury, so it is relevant because at some point in most people's lives, they're going to need some sort of leave. Many people can't afford to take 12 weeks without a paycheck.
What is the FMLA?
The FMLA, the Family and Medical Leave Act, which was passed in 1993. And so that gives people 12 weeks of job protection. If you have a new child, if you have a serious illness, or if you need to take care of a family member who has a serious illness. So it continues your health care while you are on leave, and you can't be fired while you're on this leave. But other than that, you get no benefits. We've had that for 25 years, and most people who supported it back in the 1990s thought that this would be the first step, thought that once we got unpaid leave, that would just be the first step, and then we'd start to cover more people, that we would start to get wage replacement, and none of that's happened in the last 25 years. It hurts businesses not to have paid leave, which seems counterintuitive, but the biggest cost for businesses is job turnover, is hiring someone new. And when people have paid leave, they're much more likely to return to their employer. If they don't have access to paid leave, they are more likely to just take their leave and just to leave the workforce altogether. And it's very expensive then to replace those workers.
So would you ultimately though call paid family leave an issue of feminism?
Would I? Yes, I certainly would. It's an issue that I think can be argued from many different perspectives. So I could make arguments of this is how it benefits businesses, this is how it benefits child health, that children are less likely to have developmental problems, less likely to get sick. But ultimately, for me, it is largely a feminist issue because it does overwhelmingly affect women more negatively. I mean, it affects, again, all people in a negative way when it doesn't exist, but women, it's one more way in which women are especially targeted as care workers and as second-class citizens, because since they're doing the care work, and we put no value on it, no monetary value on it in this country, it can be seen as less valued. By having paid leave, it would put a higher value on care work, on taking care of children, on taking care of loved ones, on elderly family members. And since that's associated with women, it would send this message that we do value this type of work, which is traditionally associated with women. It would also certainly help gender dynamics between men and women, because if leave were paid, more men would take it, which would be a good thing for gender equality in the home, because that would mean that men would be more likely to take an active role in children's lives and in their babies' lives, and also in their relatives' lives in general. So it would certainly help with the gender balance within the household as well. So I would say all of those help the gender relations, and so I see it as a feminist issue.